This is Angi Kane from Jolly's Mill Pond Farm. Some of you may know that I am a documentary producer. I consider myself a storyteller more than anything else. And as a storyteller, as a creative, I wanted to experiment with a new way of sharing the Jolly's Mill Pond story with you. At one point, my husband Bill and I, we are the co-owners of Jolly's Mill Pond Farm in Williamsburg. At one point, we collaborated on a book, but things change for us every single day. And we could never really keep up with all of the changes. So I want to try this. Please be patient. And also give me your feedback if you like this format. I wanted to deliver an audio version of our newsletter. So let me know how you like this and if you want me to continue to do more of this. But I'm at least going to do 3 parts of our story in audio form. So let me get started. This really is a response to a lot of the frequently asked questions that we have. For those of you who have never seen us in person, or you haven't seen our photo on our website, Bill and I are a mixed couple. I'm black, he's white, or as I like to say, he is extremely white. We met in high school in, of all places, Keystone, Colorado. Both of us had school trips that took us to a science school there. And lo and behold, we met there only to find out that Bill lived about 2 miles away from my school where I was a boarding student. We started out as friends, and then we started dating, which was a fundamental shock to people at that point. In Richmond, Virginia, where I was in school and where Bill grew up, at that time, if Bill and I were walking down the street together, we could stop traffic. It was just not the done thing. And certain family members on both sides were not happy that we were dating because it wasn't the thing that you did. But over time, people started to accept it because we were in love. And we continued dating through college. Ultimately, we both landed in New York after Bill proposed to me, and we lived in Brooklyn. Fast forward a few years, I orchestrated things so that our children would be born in Brooklyn, but we did spend some time living in New Jersey, moved back to Brooklyn, where I thought we would stay and live happily ever after, amen, when life happened. So the next question that comes up for people is, how did we end up moving to Virginia? The short answer to that was cancer. My father-in-law was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which has an extremely high mortality rate. Normally, once people are diagnosed, they are given 2 to 6 months to live. My father-in-law ended up living an additional 2 years beyond his diagnosis. So we were still living in Brooklyn and going back and forth to Virginia. Bill was making a ton of trips, settling things, and I was in Brooklyn a lot obviously with the kids. They were in school. Then on not too long after my father-in-law's funeral, we found out that my dad, who lived in Virginia Beach, also had cancer, and it was stage 4. So, other than the pure devastation of dealing with yet another cancer diagnosis, uh, the reality was, with everything that was happening in Richmond and with Jolly's at the time, it was impossible to manage from New York. Uh, then, on top of it, given my dad's health, I would have a unique opportunity to help out and pitch in whenever I could. So ultimately, one day we were driving back to Brooklyn from yet another trip to Richmond. It was a sunny, mild spring day as we were driving through Maryland, and the decision was made that we were going to make the move. Now, of course, I deliver that, you know, in a way that sounds very rational and very reasonable. Let me tell you, leading up to that, I pitched an ever loving fit about moving to Virginia. And it was an agonizing decision because I'd had certain experiences when I was living in Virginia, and I didn't want my kids to grow up with those same experiences. Little did I know that this move would open up opportunities that I'd never anticipated. So I'm going to end right here. Uh, Normally, when people come to visit Jolly's Mill Pond Farm, or Jolly's as we call it, uh, there's so much information and there's so many parts to our story that it's like turning on a fire hose. So I'm going to do my best to keep this short and sweet. But let me give you a kind of a preview of what I'll be sharing next week. Um, I'll be sharing the surprise of what it would take to learn how to manage this beautiful protected corner of Williamsburg and turn it into a sustainable business. My friends, this is not for the faint of heart, and I had no idea, neither of us had any clue of how hard the next several years were going to be and how steep the learning curve would be for us. Definitely, if you find this compelling, let me know. Uh, like I said, I'm going to be doing multiple uh, recordings sharing our origin story based on frequently asked questions. If you want to learn more about what we offer, definitely park yourself on our website, share uh, our website with friends. Definitely follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Our handle is Jolly's Mill Pond. That's JollysMillPond. And I have a burgeoning TikTok account, and that's Taste Local History on TikTok. So you'll want to start following that because fairly soon I'll have an intro series on TikTok, and we really want to get those numbers up pretty quickly in terms of subscribers. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to sharing more of our story with you in the near future.